Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Ford Mustang car. Engines in the Ford Mustang V, excluding Shelby version. Petrol 3.7 V6 309 hydrogen phosphide. Petrol 4.0 V6 213 hydrogen phosphide. 4.6 V8 petrol 305 and 320 hydrogen phosphide. Mustang GT 5.0 V8 petrol 418, 426 and 450 hydrogen phosphide. Mustang GT. The main two problems of this model are the post-accident, post-flood or post-fire past in the USA and extensive repairs in Europe. Although it should be noted that there are workshops in our country that will rebuild this model almost from scratch, and it will be a good car. The second problem is the driving style, especially when the gearbox is manual and the driver does not feel and does not care about the mechanics. Backlash in the drive system, even worn manual gearboxes or differentials are not uncommon. Automatics work more smoothly and spare the drive mechanisms. If treated well, they withstand considerable mileage. As befits an American car, the cooling and fuel systems are not the best. There are failures of the pump, fuel tank, sensors or relays, and even engine boiling, which does not necessarily mean its repair. Proper car servicing is almost a guarantee that it will serve for years. You should not be too influenced by mileage, because the way it was done depends more than on the kilometers traveled. 200–300,000 kilometers in this model is not a problem and may bode better than, for example, 60,000 kilometers. Therefore, cars used not by car enthusiasts but by people who simply like the Mustang may be safer. Such examples were not used for torture. V6 engines, despite their lower power, can be used more aggressively than powerful V8s because they are much cheaper and appeal to customers switching from, for example, cheap BMWs with manual transmission. When buying, you should pay attention primarily to errors that appear on the dashboard. Sometimes it is difficult to deal with them, so it is better to visit a specialized service right away. You also need to assess the operation of the engine and drive system, feel the work of the mechanisms. Of course, you cannot expect exemplary operation from automatic gearboxes, because even when new they were not ideal. The condition of the chassis in terms of corrosion is also important. The suspension can be repaired cheaply, and unfortunately, this is done quite often. The car's involvement in a collision does not have to be a factor that excludes the purchase, as long as it is well assembled. Common faults in the Ford Mustang V: electronics and electrical faults, especially those at the engine, sensors, coils, flow meters, fuel system faults, power steering pump faults, coolant leaks and risk of engine overheating, active suspension faults, including problems with maintaining geometry. What to look for. Cars serviced regularly at a garage that specializes in Mustangs. What to avoid. Suspiciously cheap, strong versions or special editions, maybe after a bad event in the US. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know any problems with this car that I didn't mention, be sure to write about them in the comments.